Okay, if you're learning Mandarin, you know the feeling. That moment when you realize two words mean pretty much the exact same thing in English, but you absolutely cannot use them the same way. It is so frustrating. Well, today we're going to clear all of that up. I mean, seriously, right? You learn a word for no, and then, whoops, there's another one. You learn the word for two, and then you find out there's a different word for two. It really can feel like you're doing double the work. But trust me, you're not alone. This is a classic hurdle for everyone learning the language. And you know what? Getting these subtle little differences right, well, that's the secret sauce to real fluency. So let's do it. We're going to tackle some of the most common mix-ups, and we'll do it level by level, from the easy stuff to the more tricky concepts. Ready? So let's kick things off with level 1, the fundamentals. And this is probably the first big one everybody bumps into. The two main ways to say no. Okay, here's the absolute key difference. 不 is your word for the present and the future. You use it for things that aren't happening right now, things that won't happen, or for just general habits. Now, 没有, that one is all about the past. It's for anything that didn't happen. Simple as that. Let's look at a quick example. 我不喝茶. That just means I don't drink tea. See, it's a habit, a fact about me right now in the present. So it has to be 不. Now, check this out. 他昨天没有上学. The magic word here is 昨天, yesterday. Because we're talking about something that didn't happen in the past, we have to use 没有. He didn't go. It's a perfect illustration of how the timeline is everything. All right, feeling good about the negatives? Awesome. Let's level up. Now we're going to look at some common mix-ups with numbers and people. Ah, yes, the two twos. The rule for this one is actually super simple once you see it. Air is like the number 2 itself. You use it for things like dates, phone numbers, or when you say second floor. But liǎng is what you use when you're actually counting two of something. 2 people, 2 apples, 2 cars. That's liǎng. Here are some perfect examples of February is月, literally month 2. The second floor is 2楼. See? We're not counting how many floors there are, we're just identifying which one. It's the numeral. But look here. 我买了2本书. I bought 2 books. Now we're counting a specific quantity of things, so it has to be liang. And here's a pro tip. See that word 本 after it? That's a measure word. If you see a measure word, that's your signal, a big flashing sign that you need to use liang. Okay, next up, the 2 ways to know. This one gets everybody. Just think of it this way. 知道 is for knowing facts, stuff you keep in your brain. rènshi is for knowing faces. It's for people you're equated with, people you've actually met. So if you're talking about information, you'd say something like 我知道这个问题的答案. I know the answer to this question. It's pure data, right? Something stored in your mental database. That's 知道. But here, it's about a person. 我认识他很多年了. I've known him for many years. This implies a personal connection. If you used 知道 here, it would sound really weird, almost like you're saying you know the fact of his existence, but you don't actually know him. See the difference? It's huge. Okay, how are we doing? Good. Let's crank up the difficulty. Welcome to level 3. We're diving into some more abstract ideas, but stuff you use all the time, like talking about doing something again. Hey, this is just like the negatives we talked about. It all comes down to time. 在 is for again in the future. You're talking about something that's going to be repeated. Yo is for again in the past, an action that has already happened again. And I've got a fantastic little trick for you to remember this. Just look at the character for yo. Do you see that little cross shape in there? Think of that as an action that's been crossed off your to-do list. It's done. It's happened. It's in the past. It's such a great visual cue. So here is 在 in action. 请再说一遍. Please say it again. You're asking for something to happen in the future. The repetition hasn't occurred yet, which is why it must be 在. And now for yo. 昨天又下雨了. It rained again yesterday. The repetition is in the past. It's already happened. And yo can sometimes have this little hint of frustration, like, it rained again. Just remember that little cross. The action is already done. So we've covered negatives, numbers, people, and repetition. But what if there is a master key to unlock all of this, to make it all just make sense? Well, there is. Let's talk about the ultimate language hack. We've gone through the rules, we've seen the examples, but what's the real secret? How do you stop just memorizing rules and actually start to feel the logic of the language? How do you get to that next level?
This is it. This is the big one. The single most powerful thing you can do to become truly fluent is to learn the Chinese characters. I know, it seems like the long way around, but believe me, it is the ultimate shortcut.
So why does this work so well? Because characters aren't just random squiggles. They're the building blocks of meaning. Remember our little trick with yong, how the cross inside hinted that the action was crossed off or done? That's the logic baked right into the character. Once you start seeing those patterns, you're not memorizing words anymore. You're understanding a system. And that makes everything, and I mean everything, so much faster down the line. So as we finish up, just remember this. It's not really about memorizing that bu is for the present and meiyo is for the past. It's about seeing the logic built into the very bones of the language, the characters. So I'll leave you with this question. Which one of these small words is going to be the one that unlocks the next big piece of the puzzle for you? Keep going.